Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook. People at Marvel. Kamar-Taj signs on for 10 years. Chapter 1. Near the Himalayas, within Kamar-Taj. A bald man wearing a yellow magician robe was looking at several children in front of him in this antique hall. These children are orphans found by other magicians from all over the world. They all have a certain talent for learning magic. One of the children, Suchan, traveled from Earth. At the moment, Suchan was extremely nervous. Because the person standing in front of Suchan is the Ancient One of the big bosses of this Earth. This is a magician with a budget that even Marvel can't afford. Her bright bald head undoubtedly does not highlight her high strength. The Ancient One standing on the high platform looked at the child in front of him tenderly. The road to becoming a magician is difficult and even dangerous. There may still be many people who chicken out midway. But Ancient One has always adhered to the spirit of not forcing things, letting nature take its course, and doing nothing. Whether they succeed or not depends on them individually. From today on, you are Kamar-Taj's magic apprentices. Practice magic with me and resist evil invasion. At the moment Suchan's face was filled with joy, and a glimmer of light flashed in his eyes. This world through this period of time is the Marvel world. Not to mention how chaotic the world is, but in the later stage, there is always a crisis of destroying the ball. Star explosions are common. Without strength, surviving can only depend on your appearance. Bet on that 1/2 chance. Or does a single individual have the ability to survive in the universe? If strength does not depend on mutation, it does not depend on technology. I'm afraid that as an ordinary person, whenever he is killed by the aftermath of a battle, he can only accept his fate. At most, Marvel philanthropist Tony will provide some financial compensation. It will probably be funny if there is no one to compensate by then. When he first traveled through time, Suchan was thinking about what benign mutation method was safer. The one with no fatality rate. After much deliberation, maybe the Venom battle suit of Spider-Man is the only one that is more reliable. Just put it on. Venom definitely can't be deadly Asgardian. Which version of Venom is? If you don't like yourself, you will eat yourself. And Venom's timeline is stretched too far. Little Spider-Man is still a single cell. We don't know how long it will take for the Venom to arrive on Earth. So I don't know how many years I have to wait. And he also has to ensure that he survives in this crisis-ridden Marvel world for so many years. It's exciting just thinking about it. Waiting for Venom has the character of a gambler entirely. Loving you during this period of time when I have no strength means placing all my wealth and life on the superhero. What if the captain makes a mistake one day, or Tony's grenade is ruthless? Wouldn't it be GG in advance? Fortunately, at this time, the Ancient One, a magician of secret arts, came to him. Said he had a little bit of magical ability. Want to accept him as a magician apprentice. Originally, they looked down upon apprentices like Suchan who were better than ordinary people and worse than ordinary magicians. However, due to the recent invasion of black magicians, a large number of ordinary magicians died. In order to replenish blood, Ancient One searched the world for children with abilities. I stumbled across Suchan. Even if his ability is mediocre, the key is that Ancient One can't see his future. Just like Doctor Strange, and Strange can still see some possibilities. But I don't see even the slightest possibility in Suchan. This caught the attention of the Ancient One magician. And he's still an orphan. So it was decided to bring Suchan back to Kamar-Taj. Sorcerer Supreme, why do you want to leave a person with weak magic ability in Kamar-Taj? Such a child, even if he learns magic, is destined to not go far. It is not as useful as learning ordinary people's knowledge in this world. A magician looked at the child in front of him and whispered to the Ancient One. This magician must also be a warm man, taking care of the emotions of the child in front of him. There was no loud shouting. Do you think you have no ability? But how come I see this child has extraordinary ability? The Ancient One magician looked at the child in front of him and said slightly. This caused the surrounding magicians to be silent for a while. They stared at Suchan for a long time without noticing what abilities Suchan had. And I agreed that he would come to learn magic, not because of his ability, but because of his future. Suchan, who was standing below, did not hear the murmurs of the Ancient One magician and other magicians above. and suddenly murmured to himself in a corner where no one else could hear. I can see everyone's future, but I can't see your future, but you will have different surprises every day. I hope you can bring better changes to the world. Suchan is waiting for the decision from the boss above. There was nothing to do when a voice suddenly sounded. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining a god-level sign-in system. As long as you sign in at each famous scene, you can get generous rewards. Special reminder, even if you sign in at the same place, you may sign in for different rewards. It may also be special items from all over the world. There are many rewards for signing in, and they are not limited to items, such as character templates of powerful people from all over the world, and even games, various skills, bloodlines, weapons, artifacts, etc. A cold electronic sound appeared in Suchan's mind. Suchan couldn't help but tremble when he heard the sound of the system. Suchan couldn't help but be overjoyed. As a must-have gold finger for time travelers, this will be the basis for him to reach the top in the future. Suchan looked at the Ancient One boss in front of him. How about giving it a try? This is the top leader on Earth. I'm sure the reward won't be too bad. System, sign in right here. Ding! Congratulations to the host for successfully signing in and obtaining the meditation skills of the Magic Supreme. The rewards have been distributed to the system space and can be withdrawn and used by the host at any time. Suchan closed her eyes and a pure white space immediately appeared in her mind. The system also has simple comments. Passive skills. Whenever you meditate, you can speed up the accumulation of magic power, and speed up the recovery of magic power at all times during combat. Open black lens bracket and activated. Close black lens bracket. Nice. Suchan was immediately happy when she saw the skill introduction. It seems that this sign-in is of some use. I'm lucky. It happens that my talent is mediocre. With this passivity, it seems that I can rely on myself to be a genius. Suchan is also looking forward to the next check-in. Unfortunately, this sign-in can only be done once a day. And it cannot be accumulated. Otherwise, Suchan would definitely hug the Ancient One magician's thigh and remove the leg hair. So from today on, I am a little magician of Kamar-Taj. At night when the system is on, Suchan had a dream while lying in bed. Dreamed that one day I was wearing magician robes. Then a heavy armor was put on over the magician robe. Holding a shield and holding a sword. With the Holy Light special effects and the Universal Family Planning Commission on, Uncle Thanos is facing hard steel. He shouted, "Come and meet me head on." Then Suchan was awakened. Suchan, who looked excited, did not continue to sleep and got up early. After getting ready, he went to the school to learn basic magic knowledge. Although there is a signed sorcerer supreme meditation technique. After half a night of meditation, Suchan already had a small amount of magic power. Today Suchan regrets not seeing the Ancient One magician. Otherwise, ask him to sign in again. But think about it, a sorcerer supreme who fights in the multi-universe will seriously teach an apprentice who knows nothing. Except for the later sorcerer supreme second generation, it seems that no one taught me step by step. Fortunately, the person who taught Suchan the basic knowledge was a well-known magician. Hello Magician Hamel. Hello students. Hamel magician motioned to the students to sit down and then began. Influenced by the exam-oriented education of flower growers, I started giving lectures incessantly. Suchan's head suddenly felt heavy, so he clicked on today's check-in. Ding! Congratulations to the host for the magician skill, hardening. Suchan quickly clicked on the skill introduction and checked the attributes. Active magic skill, hardening. Its skills again. It seems that Kamar-Taj's magic sign-in rate is quite high. After reading the introduction, Suchan's eyes sparkled. It seemed like he saw himself holding a staff in the future and dominating the world. Heavy magicians are heretics. Suchan didn't think much and just learned the skills directly. After last night's meditation, Suchan now has some minimal magic power. Hardening skills cannot be activated yet. But depending on how fast the magic power increases, it will be ready to use within a few days. The next day, Suchan got up early again. After yesterday's collection, Suchan already roughly knows the topographic distribution of Kamar-Taj. Today, while the Ancient One magician was away, I touched near the library. The library is not as small as in the movie. On the contrary, it is very vast. It's as big as several football fields. It is enough to see that there is a rich collection inside. Unfortunately, Suchan could not find the time gem placed in the library. Likewise, I haven't even seen the Ancient One magician's private collection of books. I asked the librarian to find out. Only high-level magicians can borrow these, and trainee magicians like Suchan are not qualified to check them. After all, if your rank is low, you will be in trouble if your practice goes wrong. Suchan had no choice but to sign in here. System, sign in here. Ding. Congratulations to the host for getting the One Piece Garp character template. Remarks. After using the mission template, you will obtain the character's inheritance. Physique. Unlock the corresponding skills as your proficiency increases. Suchan didn't keep it and used it on the spot. According to the system, character templates can be superimposed. If you sign in Saitama's template later, you can also superimpose 1+1 to make more than 2. This effect is awesome. As soon as the character was used, Suchan immediately felt a warmth. At the same time, the sixth form of the Navy and the practice of domineering came to mind. Coexisting with this is some combat experience. It's those scenes of fighting the big pirates for their lives. It's more enjoyable to watch than a big movie. At the same time, there is that hunger like a black hole. No wonder all the pirates are big eaters. Sure enough, eating during body training is a big problem. The only pity is that I am a magician, so why would I give a template to a warrior? It would be understandable given a first-rate character template for President Fairy Tale Natsu. After all, a melee magician is still a magician. But for a pure meat warrior, is this okay? But the warm current passed through the limbs, suddenly leaving a child with no strength to restrain himself. Has the power of a little Superman. Emma, it smells so good. Take the pirate world as an example, the fighting power of the children in it. Each one is quite impressive. You can refer to Luffy's devil training. The combat power rating of the Marvel world is roughly. The qualities of a Captain America are the starting point. The individual strength reaches the village-level combat power of annihilating a combat team. The village here is not a normal village like Hokage's. Now with the blessing of Garp's combat experience and the physical fitness of a little Superman, Suchan has completely surpassed this level. After that, the town level will be destroyed. In terms of subdivision, it means reaching the city-destroying level of combat power. It means destroying national combat capability. Finally, there is the Annihilator-level God-level combat power that can easily destroy a planet. For example, Ancient One is at this level. This is what Marvel calls the level Godfather's combat power. The destruction mentioned here is complete destruction in the physical sense. It's almost like Thor destroying Sokovia in Women's Federation 2. By comparison, you will know how good the superheroes in Marvel movies are. In the early stage, only a small burst of Brother Hammer can destroy a town Sokovia. That's simply, and Garp is the ceiling combat power of a world. Although he has never actually seen it take action, the aftermath of the battle in his memory was enough to completely destroy an island. The island in One Piece is not too small at all. It's completely comparable to a Marvel nation file size. Just like an island country. It is not a dream to sink the island country with one full blow. Warrior physical attacks are rated very well. The magician's combat power rating in the Marvel world is also similar. Most of them are rated based on the magic power involved in the spells. Take a small fireball as an example. When the magic output can make such a small fireball powerful, it can destroy a small town. Destroy cities. Same thing with this. The same magic power was used to output this small fireball, but its magic pattern and mystical nature increased its power to the level of a forbidden spell. Destroy cities as well. It can also reach the level of destroying a city. How about giving it a try? After saying that, Suchan punched the pillar next to him. Boom! The pillar that could only be covered by two adults' arms broke apart. Ah, you're so strong. You haven't even used any force yet. Suchan looked at the broken pillar in front of him and wondered whether it would cause the house to collapse. Escape quickly. As the body becomes stronger, the speed also becomes faster. Suchan disappeared in a moment. At this moment, something suddenly came from behind. Which one did it? Come out quickly, beep beep beep. What happens after that definitely has nothing to do with Suchan. But later the librarian installed a camera in the library. With this, Suchan also seems to have accelerated the modernization process of Kamar-Taj. There are many places in Kamar-Taj, most of which are the residences of famous magicians. These places are where Suchan checks in every day. Ding! Congratulations to the host for getting the prop, Tears of the Goddess, from League of Legends. Tears of the Goddess equipment from League of Legends. But there seem to be some small changes. Each cast will add 1 point of mana. The increase has been reduced, but the cap limit appears to have been removed. This piece of equipment transformed into a very powerful artifact. One day Suchan herself can become a super life form with as much mana as Dormammu. With this equipment, Suchan can definitely excel on the road of magician. At this time, even if Suchan did not sign in, he had been in Kamar-Taj for several years. There is still a place for Suchan among the strong players in the future. Suchan immediately put this piece of equipment on himself. Immediately I felt the magic gathering. The amount of magic power immediately reached the entry level of a magician. If the teachers knew that I could cast spells in one day, I don't know if their jaws would drop in shock. Remember those magicians who said they had no ability? It seems that Kamar-Taj is still very friendly. But Suchan decided to keep her secret. Although it seems that in the eyes of the Ancient One magician, there seems to be no secrets. After all, the Ancient One is a being who can peek into the future. However, the Ancient One was not extremely vicious towards him. In contrast, this is also the origin of magic derived from the practice of Kamar-Taj. Most of Kamar-Taj's magic comes from a trinity of dimensional gods named Vishanti. Emperor Vishan upholds light and justice, commonly known as real, good, beautiful. This is probably the reason why he turned against Dormammu, the first-class evil god of the dark dimension. After all, Dormammu advocates fear and feeds on fear. Over the next few days, Suchan found the Ancient One magician again and checked in on his location. Hope you sign up for something good. Not to mention the very good Kamar-Taj signature spell Seraphim Shield signed this time. This spell is known as Kamar-Taj's most powerful magic shield. Theoretically, as long as the magic power is enough, any attack can be blocked. This magic skill works in conjunction with Tears of the Goddess. The effect is absolutely impressive. As long as Suchan's magic power is not completely consumed, it is equivalent to being unable to break through the defense from the front. A mobile fortress centered on Suchan. Then I signed in a lot of small spells. There are also some small skills, such as Holy Light, Purification, and Healing. Blessings on weapons. Wait for a series of auxiliary skills. At this time, Ancient One, the first generation of Sorcerer Supreme, said, Ahem. After your magic power is high, you also need a healing skill. Healing is the key. A battle magician who doesn't use healing skills will not survive the finale. It seems that because this is Kamar-Taj, the place where magicians practice, the explosion rate of skills and spells is particularly high. This is enough to prove how rare and valuable the GARP character template is. This time in a few months is enough to show how European Suchan is. Suchan, we must protect our material world. He seemed to be aware of Suchan's little head wandering around him. Ancient One also ignored Suchan's squeezing behavior. In her opinion, he didn't quite understand Suchan's method of quickly becoming stronger. But as long as you don't do evil, that's fine. She will even help Suchan become stronger. Because she is still a good teacher. As for the reason, because he is from Earth, is this reason enough? And she was already at the end of her rope. The energy he stole from Dormammu was about to run out. Dormammu also discovered this, which made it increasingly difficult for him to steal energy. So for the sake of the future of the Earth, teach more Asgardians on Earth. This is also his wish. Suchan did not see greed, envy, or even fear of this kind of creation out of thin air in the eyes of Ancient One magician. Suchan still underestimated this wise man, the strongest magician who has guarded the earth for thousands of years. I am still too weak. Master Ancient One, although the magic of Kamar-Taj is not very suitable for you, it will be good for you if you learn it. I hope you can take on some magician responsibilities in the future. The Ancient One magician didn't say much, and had an inscrutable attitude. Suchan looked confused. Is this considered the Ancient One magician acquiescing to his own existence? Or did he notice something? Or is this system just too bad? But these are not important. The most important thing is to develop yourself. It's only a matter of time before we surpass the Ancient One. If the system was effective, he would probably yell, "Why am I too weak?" That's because you are too weak and can be seen through at a glance. The next day will be a regular check-in. Definitely not checking in every day is 100% useful. There are also many useless props, toys. For example, there are some M78 Nebula's only fat one. Sister Pow's game currency. Children's rocker. Red Wolf's frying pan. Quote. So Kamar-Taj appeared as a diligent figure. After taking the magic class during the day, I wandered around and signed in. I spent the middle of the night polishing my body and developing character templates. Plus Kamar-Taj's food supply keeps up with consumption. Suchan's progress is visible to the naked eye. But Suchan's fame has not spread in Kamar-Taj. Being low-key is the way to go. This magician is obviously very strong, but overly cautious. The only one who knows something is probably the Ancient One magician. After all, the most powerful person in Kamar-Taj is the Ancient One. After all, no one except him can live for thousands of years. The accumulation of magic power alone is enough to be beyond the reach of others. Even if Suchan has supreme meditation and tears of the goddess, it will not be possible to catch up with the Ancient One in a short time. In just 3 months, Suchan's physical fitness was at least as good as dozens of Captain America's. The physical body is progressing at a rapid rate, completely surpassing the progress of magic practice. Moreover, if your physical fitness is fully satisfied with the cultivation conditions, the faster you go to the later stage, the faster it will be. Over time, there are more and more sign-ups of various magical skills in Kamar-Taj. The level of magic attainments is also getting higher and higher. Much of the magic of signing in is from other worlds. Suchan can also be considered as an analogy. Strong combination. After drawing the GARP character template, coupled with Suchan's experience in the previous world, he also understood one thing deeply. Can't a magician exercise, especially in this big Kamar-Taj family? An assassin who doesn't want to be a warrior is not a good magician. Every magician must take some melee combat courses. I don't know who proposed it in the first place. The great Ancient One, the great magician, was beaten to death at close range. Moreover, Suchan also knew that the Ancient One magician was killed because his body was too fragile. With the sign-in system, you have access to resources from all over the world. It is not impossible to compare with a super life form that can achieve omniscience and omnipotence. 10 years later, Kamar-Taj Chamber. The Ancient One magician is summoning magicians to discuss matters. Recently, the Asgardian at Holy Place in New York is no longer able to guard Holy Place due to old age. So we have to reselect the right person and continue to guard New York's Holy Place. Ancient One looked around and saw some elderly figures, only a little better than the recently retired XX Asgardian. If they were left to guard it, they would probably have to be replaced again soon. XG Holy Place is guarded by a younger generation of kings. Holy Place in London is also owned by the younger generation and is already the strongest guard on the surface. Do we really have to choose Mordo? Mordo is one of the disciples with the best ability in all of Kamar-Taj. Together with Icarus, he is known as the most capable disciple. But both have character flaws. Icarus falls easily into darkness. And Mordo's character is too stubborn. Magically, the two of them can guard the holy place. Teacher, why don't you let me go to New York to guard it? Maud's voice came from the conference room. Mordo's level of magic power and his record of defeating black magicians are enough for him to participate in such a meeting. These are also one of the few young people in the chamber. And among the magicians present, except for the Ancient One, no one can say that he can beat him for sure. Magician sometimes takes a fancy to some abilities. Ancient One glanced at Mordo and thought again and again, as if he had thought of something. I do have someone to recommend, but I don't know if he is willing to do it. Who? Mordo was a little surprised that there was a more suitable candidate than him. And you are a bit too proud to ask for his opinion. Suchan, Ancient One said. At this time Hamel magician exclaimed. Suchan, a magician with mediocre ability. It doesn't matter that this kid has mediocre abilities, the most important thing is that he has strayed from the path of a magician. Not strong, and he's only 16 years old. Can he be competent at his level? Even if you are skilled enough, can you be qualified for such an important position at such a young age? Ancient One Magician, I hope you will consider it carefully. Hamel Magician hurriedly suggested. After all, Suchan learned magic from Hamel from the beginning. Suchan would never dare to be respectful except for signing in the original magic ability Camille. Even if his ability is poor, Suchan still needs to practice hard. Instead, study exercise. You can see Suchan sweating in the martial arts training ground every day. If he hadn't known that he was in Kamar-Taj, he would have thought he was in a gym somewhere. Although there are magicians who hone their fighting skills, they never thought about polishing their bodies into tough guys. Magicians have always focused on magic. Only when they really can't advance any further will they think of tempering their physical bodies. In fact, Suchan wouldn't have thought about it if he hadn't drawn Garp's character template. He didn't want to work so hard either. Suchan was still lamenting why he didn't draw Saitama's character template. All it takes then is 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 kilometers. It doesn't take 10 years of wretchedness, it can be done in 3 years. At that time, even the 5 creation gods will come in person. Suchan also had to make them kneel down and call daddy. Apart from these, Suchan's grades in magic courses can only be described as mediocre. Just stuck in the qualified position. If it is neither good nor bad, it will be quite uncomfortable for Hamel to watch magician. I don't know what Ancient One Magician likes about Suchan. If Suchan guards New York and holy place is lost. Suchan is a big sinner if he caused the global defense barrier to fall. No one here can escape. How about we summon him and see what his opinion is? Hamel Magician suggested. According to what he thought, if such a big burden was thrown on him, normal people would never do it. Let's explain the stakes later. You will definitely be scared away. At that time, the Ancient One Magician's proposal will be shelved, which is why Hamel can't help but praise his own wit. Reconsideration. With the approval of many magicians, Ancient One has nothing to say. So Suchan was summoned to the meeting hall. Suchan, after listening to me talking about so many responsibilities and dangers, do you want to become an Asgardian in the holy place of New York? Hamel Magician strongly advised. If in another 20 years, when Suchan becomes stronger, Magician Hamel will definitely agree. But now I am still too young and need to be tempered. But he didn't understand Suchan. The person who knew Suchan best in Kamar-Taj was the Ancient One. Not long ago, the Ancient One Magician felt that Suchan's magic power was about to surpass his own. He definitely told no one this. Coupled with the usually powerful magic in the mirror space, maybe Suchan has surpassed himself. This is also the basis for the Ancient One Magician to make this suggestion. He would definitely not say that Suchan's food expenses in Kamar-Taj were too high. It's time to show off your strength. Otherwise, it's all for nothing. Suchan has been at Kamar-Taj for 10 years and signed here for 10 years. Now he has stopped signing anything good. Even the library, which contains a lot of magic, can't sign anything good. What comes out of signing in now is all a little bit of magic. The products that have been released recently are all basic magic like lighting. So Suchan decided that it was time to change the map to sign in. And through the internet, the outside world has now entered the time when Tony announced that he is Iron Man. New York is in a state of chaos. And when Tony announced that he was Iron Man, Suchan secretly ran to the press conference to sign in. The famous scene did not disappoint Suchan. Ding! Congratulations to the host for getting the prop, the Universal Angel for Entertainment, Icarus. Seeing this reward, Suchan's jaw dropped in shock. I checked quickly and found that there was no universal card. But how could a causal weapon like this that can change the world be drawn out so easily? But this Icarus alone is worth the trip. It would be fun if someone really regarded her as an all-purpose angel for entertainment purposes. There hasn't been such a good product for a long time. This also strengthens Suchan's determination to change maps. If you stick to one place to gather wool, you will always end up bald. And it's still quite a while before the second generation Sorcerer Supreme arrives. I guess there will be a lot of good stuff by then. The position of Asgardian, a holy place in New York, introduced by Ancient One Magician, is also pretty good. Change the map honestly. Okay, I decided, I want to become an Asgardian in the holy place of New York. Suchan's words shocked everyone present except Ancient One. It's over, Bai explained. Suchan, don't do anything together. Yes, don't be too pretentious about projects, but see your own strength. Quote. The quiet conference room became noisy again. At this time, Mordo came forward. I have no objection to you wanting to become an Asgardian, but I also want to test your strength to see if you are qualified to become an Asgardian. Kamar-Taj training ground. A fresh and refined figure stood in the martial arts arena. And in front of this figure were dozens of other magicians. They stood ready, gesturing with various magicians in their hands. Some are holding magic whips and the ring of Ragador, that is, the two small bucklers held by the magician. The leader is Mordo magician. This magician has almost the same abilities as Doctor Strange. The only difference between Doctor Strange and Doctor Strange is that he doesn't have the ability to use the time gem. At the moment, Mordo has no equal to Blacken, and no one can match him in terms of mana ability. He is already a magician at a young age. He is a well-deserved senior brother of the younger generation. In terms of magic power, it has reached a city-destroying level of combat power. He also made outstanding achievements in several battles against black magicians. There is almost a strong contender to be the next Sorcerer Supreme. However, in the eyes of Ancient One, his ability is still a bit lacking and his personality is too paranoid. So I still have to stay around and polish my temperament, so that he can become Strange's right-hand man. But it always seems to backfire. Mordo didn't know this, but today, he has to take the place of his teacher and give a good assessment to the person in front of him. This ignorant young man dared to deceive the Ancient One magician. He must be taught a lesson. Give up. There is still a way out now. Study magic well. Maybe the next Asgardian will have you. Suchan has been mediocre in the past 10 years. It gives people the illusion that there is nothing left after eating. The misconception that something can't be done. I just sign in and practice every day, and I don't make any friends. Suchan, how dare a group of charlatans who don't even have names have the nerve to get close to each other? If you get too familiar with the game and are killed in the aftermath of the battle, will you have to find something to revive you? Will he embark on a villain path from now on? Close black lens bracket. Without the aura of the protagonist, I don't dare to attack a bunch of people, for fear of losing my life. Close black lens bracket. Suchan can't find any useful magic in the Ancient One magician. He basically knows what the Ancient One magician knows. The only difference is probably proficiency and combat experience. After all, he has lived for more than 1,000 years and has experienced countless battles. Sometimes it is necessary to maintain the balance of the multi-universe. You can imagine what happened to Ancient One magician's weathered bald head. And sometimes it can also extract some dimensional energy for Dormammu. Although most of them maintain life, if used in battle, their combat power will explode. With these, a God-level Sorcerer Supreme, Marvel-level Godfather, and an arm-wrestling existence with Odin were created. The most important thing is to be humble. He is simply the epitome of a good mentor. Not seeking fame or fortune. If these achievements were made known to ordinary people, not to mention belief in becoming a god, at least it can be compared to Jesus. The sign in time is too short. I wanted to develop for hundreds of years, but I didn't expect to be released now. The system is not powerful. Mordo saw that Suchan was distracted when they were fighting. Don't get angry anywhere. Is this looking down on them? See the power of my magic weapon, the staff of the Court of Life. After speaking, Mordo took out the staff of the Tribunal of Life that was carried behind his back, stretched his hands, and suddenly turned into a golden whip. It was drawn towards Suchan's body. Ah, see Gui, he looks so flashy. When Suchan saw Mordo whipping the whip over, he did not dodge, but just stretched out his hand to take the whip. Armed color. Domineering. Suchan calmly covered his arms with armed colors. This arm is harder than the hardest metal in the world. Come on. Without receiving any harm, Suchan pulled the stick of the Court of Life. Puff. Mordo immediately flew towards Suchan. What a power! Magician, How could a magician have such power? Without any surprise, Mordo immediately fell to pieces. Loss of face. Who are you? How can you have such strong power? You are a heretic. Go together. Mordo shouted. It seemed like one person couldn't deal with this young man. The body is so strong, the shadow is hidden in the magician. If you don't have good intentions, it's not impossible to secretly assassinate them all in one night. I'm just an ordinary magician apprentice. How can I be a heretic? Mordo cursed secretly. How is it possible, Kamar-Taj, but you don't have the magic to cultivate your body to such a state? You said you're not a heretic. Mordo immediately condensed an energy chain. Meanwhile other magicians are doing the same. Everyone threw the energy whip at Suchan. At the same time, Mordo also added a shot of Sidorak's scarlet chain to restrain and control Suchan. Stop struggling. Being restrained like this, you have no hope of fighting anymore. Tell me, who sent you? Mordo fell into a persecution paranoia and would not let go of any trace of the cobweb horse. Coupled with this, I seem to often see this guy wandering around Kamar-Taj. It's obviously to spy on the military and collect intelligence. At this time, Mordo's imagination reached the sky. At this time, Suchan, who was bound by the spell, heard a sound. Spell. Hardening. Spell. Stoneskin. Spell. Spell resistance. Quote. Countless blessing spells acted on Suchan. Although these are simple auxiliary spells. But in Suchan's hands, it turned into a forbidden curse-level existence. Then under Suchan's pull, the magic chain broke. Pull a ring of Gador. After Suchan shook off the chains, he clapped his hands together, and immediately after they separated, 2 large shields appeared on his hands. Different from other magicians' small bucklers, Suchan's 2 bucklers are much larger than the size of 2 people. And it's still smooth hair. This basic magic attainment is not inferior, no, it has surpassed Mordo himself and even rivaled the Ancient One magician. The reason why Suchan's magic attainments are so high is because some magic spells are sometimes drawn twice. If the same magic is drawn, the original magic will be strengthened on the original basis, thereby becoming stronger. The same goes for these 2 small bucklers. The strengthened buckler is definitely stronger and more durable than Captain America's. You actually call me a heretic. In this day and age, you don't even know that magicians are called melee fighters. A bunch of people are stuck with news. Who is a serious magician? So come together. Let you experience the correct outfit of a magician in the new century. Suchan looked around and said contemptuously. Although the dozen magicians did not speak, their expressions were solemn. However, the Ancient One on the side of at the moment also had a dark face and his expression darkened. This is a show-off by young people. There is no suspense in the battle that follows. Suchan relied on her super magic resistance to resist countless spell attacks. With overwhelming force, he defeated everyone. Yes, it's really fun to fight magician in close combat. Although I have some battle memories of Kajin, it's really more fun to get started on my own. Suchan's magic is a combination of his own check-in, his own understanding, and continuous strengthening, which led to the current results. Moreover, Haki also has the effect of resisting spells, which further improves Suchan's magic resistance. Now Suchan's magic resistance has almost reached the max level. Basically, it is not a forbidden spell level magic, and there is no ability that leaves any traces on Suchan. If it weren't for Suchan's ability to use large-scale AoE attack magic, Suchan would definitely find it troublesome and just throw a big move. Suchan is not abusing these little magicians anymore. He just held a magic shield and patted a child. Even if it holds up the same magic shield, it will still be the same result. After Suchan's training, Garp's character template has been fully developed. Now with Suchan's power, if he doesn't use up his strength, it's not impossible to kill Mordo with one blow. If Suchan punches a mountain right now, it is estimated that a small mountain will be reduced to crumbs. Mordo's face turned dark, adding a different color to his already dark face. They have been defeated. It can be seen that Suchan has already kept his hand. Otherwise, all of them will die. He was still beaten to death by a magic shield. And the other party is a magician of the same profession as you. Mordo felt aggrieved just thinking about it. Aren't you a magician? Come and compete head-on with magic. Mordo looked at Suchan killing everyone and shouted. Aren't I using spells to compete head-on? The spells I used are recorded in the library. Don't you usually hone your melee skills in the martial arts training ground? Mordo felt bitter in his heart. He knew that their enemies were all magicians who studied black magic. Under the same magic power, having some fighting skills does have an advantage. But he has never seen a magician who specializes in physical training. Mordo felt even more miserable. The kind of magician who casts spells on the spot and cools off the assassin as soon as he stands, seems to Suchan to be evil. Suchan has understood a truth for a long time. A magic wand is not necessarily used to cast spells, it can also be used to hit people. Imagine if someone looked at you holding a 3-meter-long magic wand and wearing a robe. Everyone thinks you're a magician. Then the crispy assassin will hit you directly in the face. And you directly pick up the magic wand stick that is 3 meters long and 10 centimeters in diameter. Then all your muscles bulge. With the power of thunder, he hammered towards the assassin. The assassin is absolutely buzzing. Unless the assassin on the opposite side is an assassin with an unparalleled hegemony, he will definitely die suddenly on the spot. Although there are no dazzling and powerful spell attacks in this battle. But the crushing effect brought by ordinary spells is even more shocking. This is also enough to reflect the strength gap between the two sides. And under the witness of many magicians, I think the Asgardian seat in this holy place is secure. Okay, Mordo, stop it. At this time, the Sorcerer Supreme Ancient One, who was watching the battle not far away, spoke. But, what else did Mordo want to explain? Such strange and unreasonable powers had to make him suspicious. This is also a truth he has learned through many years of fighting black magicians. So much so that he practiced melee combat so hard just to prevent sneak attacks from black magicians. It's nothing. Your previous suspicions were all wrong. He is a qualified magician. The soft voice of Ancient One came again. But Mordo didn't think so. Teacher, do you think he is a qualified magician? After Mordo finished speaking, he pointed at Suchan. Coincidentally, a magician condensed the magic. There was no place to release it, so it fell on Suchan. With a roar, Suchan walked out unscathed. At this time, Mordo's eyes were fixed on the Ancient One, as if asking again, are you sure this is a magician? We Kamar-Taj have this magic. Yes, then why not teach us? If you take off this magician robe, put on armor again, and hold a sword in your hand, no one will believe in the Cuz warrior. This battle illustrates how a warrior can withstand the output of more than a dozen magicians. A sword, shield, for a child. Suchan's magic is all the result of his own practice. They all come from the same source, so this matter is okay. The Ancient One magician has already seen everything. He probably also knew about Suchan. After all, it is an existence that can travel across the multi-universe. His own strength is even stronger than Odin's. If you don't want to die, pave the way for Strange and wake him up. Can these rookie magicians kill him? And even if he dies, Ancient One's soul will live forever. He also went to hell to show his power and bring happiness. He also happened to help Strange fend off Mephisto, the enemy from hell. Kill multiple birds with one stone. Next, Suchan will take over the position of Holy Place Asgardian in New York. Suchan looked at Ancient One and grinned. Thanks, Ancient One magician. In the days to come, I will definitely do my job responsibly, stay out of trouble, and strive to be a good young man. Ancient One, okay, stop being naughty, I know your strength, I will take care of you from now on. Ancient One said to Suchan very easily. Suchan quickly said, Ancient One magician is serious, you have been taking care of me for the past 10 years, and I should do this. Suchan knew that the Ancient One magician might have selfish motives when he brought him to Kamar-Taj. But after many years of getting along, Suchan still regards Ancient One as one of her own. Even if it is an ordinary person, someone who has raised you since childhood. And he treats you very well, will you hate him? Even more importantly, will you provide for him in his old age? Others, Suchan, don't know, but Suchan here is sure. Moreover, most of Suchan's Kamar-Taj's high-level spells were obtained by signing in with Ancient One. It is equivalent to most of the strength coming from the Ancient One. It can be regarded as inheriting his mantle. So Suchan still thanks Ancient One from the bottom of his heart. Thanks for his cooperation. Otherwise, Just throw him into the ordinary world, and I don't know how long it will take for him to have such strength. Hey, I will protect you from death when we play Doctor Strange again. Suchan thought so. XX Magician, are you satisfied with this result? Are you willing to accept this young man as the new holy place Asgardian? XX Magician shook his old head and smiled. Definitely willing. You are young and powerful, how could you not want to? I will leave the holy place in New York to you from now on. XX Magician is very satisfied, this is related to his retirement, how can he be dissatisfied? Even if Suchan did not succeed in the challenge, he will also choose among many disciples. In addition, Suchan is also very strong. It's best to ensure that holy place is foolproof. The next day, Suchan moved directly to holy place in New York and completed the handover procedures at the same time. After all, there is only one portal away from Kamar-Taj. The built-in portal in holy place is like playing house. Even though I already have the ability to use a portal, I still go to the trouble of building one. Not enough magic power to save magic power. Oh, that's okay. After handling some handover matters, Suchan finally has his own territory. Although it is attached to the existence of Kamar-Taj. You have to remember that this is New York. The holy place land alone is worth not much, and it's an ancient building. There is more room for appreciation. Although there will be many disasters in New York in the future. But with Suchan's presence, are you still afraid that the holy place will be destroyed? The system sign in today is here. Suchan ordered to the system. Ding. Congratulations to the host for getting the prop, Fairy Bean. Yes, it's a good news. New York is indeed a geomantic treasure. Fairy beans are the sacred objects of the Dragon Balls that can save lives and heal injuries. Eat it as beans in the early stage, then break it in half and eat it in the later stage. As long as you still have a breath, you will immediately return to your prime state. It is a necessary medicine for murder and arson when traveling at home. The system manifests the omnipotent angel, Icarus. At the moment the holy light flashed. The holy light dispersed. A pure and cute girl appeared in front of Suchan. Icarus has long pink hair with uneven layers on his head, and 2 long braids with red ribbons tied behind him. Green eyes, comparable to those of a Saiyan. A device that can sense pressure changes is installed in the ears, and a collar unique to the omnipotent angel is worn around the neck. The wings are tender pink, and when opened, they look like an angel with its own holy light. A collar made of steel around the neck. A chain extended and wrapped around Suchan's arm, and then the chain necklaces disappeared one after another. Is this a master recognition ceremony? Seemingly completing the ritual, Icarus opened his eyes. Owner, when Suchan heard this, it would be great if he called you my master. Then shout a few words when summoning. Obey the call of space, follow its will, and comply with the laws of heaven. I swear here. An instant drama in a certain comic. Suchan asked, what's your name? Master, my name is Icarus. Icarus is right, plus those pink wings and those cute little eyes. Love it, love it. Icarus, do you know a man named Tomoki? Icarus tilted his little head, confused. Then he shook his head. Don't you know? What about Daedalus and Xenopus? Then Icarus shook his little head again. Then do you have any other memories? No, it seems that the memory has been cleared, but that's okay. In this case, I will be your family from now on. Suchan touched Icarus' head. Get rid of the stupid hair on your head that keeps showing off. Family. Yes, family, you can call me brother. Elder brother. If you don't understand now, it's okay. You'll understand later. Icarus had a speechless expression on his face, as if he still didn't understand what his family and brother meant. Now Icarus is like a newborn baby who has to learn everything. Suchan looked at the attributes of Icarus and was shocked to see it. Icarus, Sky Queen mode not activated. It has super recovery ability and can quickly recover after receiving damage from attacks. It can withstand pressure diving to a depth of 3,000 meters, conduct 7,200 hours of underwater anaerobic activity, and has a flight speed of up to Mach 24. Queen of the Sky mode. Unlocked permanently the most powerful air-to-air missile. Unlocked absolute defensive circle. Unlocked variable wing system. Unlocked the ultimate weapon Apollo. ... Seeing these, Suchan was ecstatic. It's a blast when it comes up. Dragon rides on the face. How can I bear this? He is worthy of being called the universal angel of entertainment. He is not only good at entertaining. This unactivated basic attribute is enough to run rampant in Marvel. Tony could not surpass this basic attribute at least until the 10th generation of armor. If the Queen of the Sky is activated, it will be like a father beating his son, beating him up. Tony's strength lies in his brain and technology. It's not surprising that Icarus, who has robotic properties, was signed in. Despite this, Suchan prefers to think of Icarus as a human being. A person who has his own feelings and can evolve himself. A special life form. If you had just come to this world, you would have signed this Icarus. The absolute starting point is that the king bomb is in hand, which makes those superheroes how to play. Such big wings are too ostentatious, can they be folded? Quote. Icarus's pair of wind-colored wings slowly shrank until they turned into a slap file size. That's right, I'll go out and buy you some clothes later. After saying that, he rubbed Icarus' little head. For several days, Suchan took Icarus shopping together. As for Icarus's wings, he was holding a large piece of clothing to cover them. After all, no one except Victoria's Secret would show off their wings coquettishly. Suchan also wanted to avoid causing commotion. Sure enough, Icarus still didn't get rid of the fate of liking round things. Ever since I saw watermelon while shopping in the supermarket, I never let go. I will definitely put it down except when Suchan sleeps with his knees on his pillow. You must know that the head is also a hollow circle-like object. On the other hand, the fact that Suchan became the Asgardian of Holy Place in New York can't help but spread in the magician circle. The youngest Holy Place Asgardian ever. The most arrogant magician ever. These are definitely the descriptions of Suchan by those who know Suchan but did not witness the contest. This is not only spread among the magicians of Kamar-Taj, but even the circle of black magicians know about it. The suppressed black magician couldn't help but have some thoughts in mind when he saw this. You're only 16. You're too young. Even if your ability is at a high level, it's still close. This time, I will operate on you. I look forward to the arrival of my Lord Dormammu, and we will dedicate this beautiful and rich planet to you. So Black Magician Andrew Leonard drew a magic circle. Communicate to Dormammu. My lord, we need your help. This may be enough to annex the Earth. After several nights of planning and gathering people, Black Magician Andrew Leonard finally makes preparations to attack Holy Place. This night, a group of people wearing black magician robes are slowly approaching the Holy Place in New York. Due to his strange appearance, many police officers went to inquire. But in the blink of an eye, he left. He also said, Dormammu hail. It can invade the spiritual world of ordinary people so quickly and effortlessly. His magical attainments are definitely not low. Obviously such a level of intentional evil can definitely cause a large number of casualties. And all this was done by a little miscellaneous fish. Those who cast spells were at the bottom of the pack. The black-robed magician took advantage of the darkness and quickly stood up to cast the spell, surrounding Holy Place in New York. Waiting for a certain command or a signal. Andrew Leonard is currently the strongest black magician. The magical inscription of Dormammu on his forehead became brighter and brighter, and he knew that the time had come. Cast a spell. This is the precious time that Master Dormammu held back the Sorcerer Supreme to buy us. Black magicians are followers of Lord Dormammu from the Dark Dimension. Their purpose here is to concentrate their efforts on destroying New York's Holy Place. Break the barrier set up by the Earth's magicians so that Dormammu's true form can come to the Earth. This attack was arranged by Dormammu himself. In order to organize this attack, Dormammu took the lead in invading elsewhere, drawing away the Ancient One, the strongest among the magicians. And as far as he knew, it was a new Holy Place Asgardian. Presumably because he is young, he is not very good at guarding the Holy Place. This is equivalent to creating opportunities for them. This attack is centered around the new Holy Place Asgardian. As long as the attack goes smoothly, it will cause loopholes in the defense system. With Dormammu's power, it could easily annex the Earth. Hundreds of people gathered together with the magic ball to completely destroy New York's Holy Place with one blow. The aftermath might even destroy the entire New York City. The disasters created in this way are enough to create a lot of fear for all people on Earth. By the way, it will also give Dormammu-sama a delicious meal. Obviously, most magicians can sense this kind of powerful magic fluctuation, as long as they are not muggles. Many magicians in New York's holy place hurriedly woke up from their sleep. Quick, sound the alarm. There is an intruder. There was a rush. The magic ball, which is several hundred meters in diameter, shines with this golden light. The violent energy released is enough to cause visual optical distortion and spatial distortion. You can't let anyone sleep at night. At this time, a lazy voice came from the door of holy place. Who? Andrew Leonard suddenly stared in the direction where the sound came from. In his perception, this place is absolutely deserted. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he would definitely think that this was an illusion. Are you the new Asgardian of Holy Place? With this ability to conceal your aura, in a few more years, you will definitely become a black magician's nightmare. So you have to die here. Andrew Leonard was dragging 100 people gathered together and a magic ball that was a full 100 meters away. As long as it is successfully released, destroying New York's holy place will be easy. In the meantime, accept death along with Holy Place Asgardian. The golden magic ball fell in response. One by one, you have nothing to do. Earth Lord, have you messed with you? You will create a crisis that will destroy the Earth at every turn. The most important thing is that it disturbs Icarus and I's sweet dream. Judging from Suchan's magic level, it can be seen that the attack power of this magic ball is quite good. It's only been a few days since I became an Asgardian, so why is someone causing trouble? Suchan holds the sky with one hand. Shield of Seraphim. A red magic circle several hundred meters long appeared in the air. It's useless, although Seraphim Shield is known as the strongest defensive spell. But it's obviously impossible to resist the magic ball's attack. Your magic power will be exhausted before you even make contact. Andrew Leonard laughed wildly and lifted the hood of the robe above his head. The corners of her smoky eyes revealed a sarcastic smile. Oh, is it? I saw that the magic ball did not break through the Seraphim Shield and burst out with dazzling light. Light up the night. How can it be? How can a holy place Asgardian have so much magic power? This is where all our magic power is gathered together. And the detection magic only shows that you only have a small amount of magic power, which cannot support such consumption. Seeing the magic ball being consumed, Andrew Leonard's plan completely failed. How could he not be rage in his heart and roared? So you used detection magic. What a pity. I made you misunderstand. After saying that, Suchan then manifested the magic concealment ring. Magic concealment ring. Hide your own magic power so that no one can detect it unless your magic power is higher than yours. Open black lens bracket from Bone King. Close black lens bracket. Normal equipment is generally in the system space, and it also has the effect of wearing the equipment. And the moment when Suchan materialized. Andrew was instantly suppressed by the surging magic power. The oppressive feeling caused by the powerful magic almost made him kneel down. How is that possible? Are you a monster? Even if he himself absorbed the magic power of the dimension Mephisto Dormammu. But the amount of magic absorbed also depends on ability and one's own strength. It was obvious that even though his own magic power now belonged to a monster, it was still a drop in the bucket compared to Suchan. It's impossible to win. The level of power is different. Even if everyone is gathered together, only Lord Dormammu can defeat him in terms of magic power. Are you the Ancient One? You are definitely the disguise of the Ancient One. Apart from him, no human being can achieve such strength in magic power. Andrew seemed to have thought of something. This is a conspiracy, and magician's change of office is just a smokescreen. To confuse us. I want to catch us all in one fell swoop. But, if the person here is the Ancient One, then Dormammu attacked. As long as I can hold back the Ancient One, then Lord Dormammu really hopes to break through the Earth's defense. For the eternal Dormammu-sama. It seems that he mustered up the courage to let Andrew. Magic like a divine source lights up the sky with the release of detection skills. A dimensional blade instantly condensed in his hand. Go to hell. Dimensional blade is a must-have skill for Dormammu believers. Basically every believer does. It has high damage and powerful power, basically except for the protagonist and top experts. Basically, if you get hit, you will be beaten. At such a distance, it's impossible for you to avoid it. Andrew Leonard saw that Suchan was not equipped with a magic weapon. How can a magician resist with his physical body? Click. Just when Andrew approached Suchan, a pink light flashed and appeared in front of Suchan. At the same time, he pinched Andrew's arm. Ah! Ah! A roar came from Andrew's mouth. Icarus, don't be so violent. It won't be a problem if you let him chop me, but I can't break my defense. Suchan's voice came from behind Icarus. At this time, Andrew's right hand was seen to be twisted. It's like there are 3 joints. This is all a manifestation of Icarus crushing Andrew's arm with his bare hands. Even though Icarus hasn't changed form yet, this basic power is more than a magician can bear. If we didn't do a good job of intelligence work beforehand, we don't know what they were planning at night. Are they here to make fun of them? Icarus was puzzled, but he wants to hurt brother. Suchan touched Icarus' little head, and I have to say that Suchan was a little addicted. Don't worry, although there are still a few people on Earth who can hurt themselves, they are definitely not the ones in front of you, miscellaneous cultivators. Ha ha ha, arrogant, do you think I have really prepared a trump card just to show up here? Originally, this was prepared for you, Ancient One. If you don't come, you can survive for a few more days. Now, suffer death. At the moment Andrew Leonard held his broken arm and kept mumbling. My lord, Lord Dormammu, we are willing to sacrifice our flesh and blood bodies. As a sacrifice, please let me gain the most powerful strength. Andrew Leonard smiled ferociously, and the torn skin under the black robe began to fester and turned into thick black smoke. Ah, Andrew, what are you doing? Quote. At the same time, the other magicians traveling with Andrew Leonard also began to spontaneously combust. Turned into thick black smoke. In Suchan's perception, these black smokes are the essence of human life, and these essences of life are transformed into an extremely evil magic power. Under Andrew's guidance, they were all absorbed by Andrew. And those magicians who were brought seemed to be drained and turned into fly ash. Magic, body, even soul. It's like they were all erased. This is when Andrew's arm, which was crushed by Icarus, has recovered, and his normal skin has turned red. Bare fangs, full muscle ligation. With this image, if you didn't say you were a believer of Dormammu, I would have thought you were a believer of Mephisto. At this time, Andrew's image changed drastically, and the magicians who surrounded him took a breath of cold air. The torment is worse than the demons in hell. Definitely a level of anti-crying product for children. Ha ha ha, this is power, this overwhelming magic power, so cool. Ancient One, we have thoroughly studied your ability. Although you have powerful magic power and profound magical attainments. Even if you stole some of Lord Dormammu's power, you have never escaped the shackles of humanity. Suchan looked at this overthinking black magician and sighed. Under his leadership, it was really a miracle that the black magician had not come to an end yet. It seems that all the lessons learned just now are over. As an ordinary person, no matter how powerful the alchemy product is, he can't protect you. At this time, Andrew's figure instantly disappeared and appeared behind Suchan. The magic power of a group of people, coupled with chi and blood, at the moment Andrew's speed has been increased to a point where ordinary people cannot detect it with the naked eye. A rookie is a rookie, even if it gets faster he's still a rookie. Suchan didn't care. Is Suchan an ordinary person? Definitely not. Suchan had already captured his movements. Even stopping Icarus from protecting her. Boom. Andrew struck Suchan's neck with a single blow, making an explosive sound. How is that possible? How could you be fine? Suchan twisted his neck. I said you can't break the defense. If you still don't believe me, there's another thing. That's that I'm really not the Ancient One. After saying that, Suchan grabbed Andrew's arm faster. Vishanti's sacred sword. A golden magic sword condensed in Suchan's hand, cutting it in half with lightning speed. The demonized Andrew fell into a sluggish state. How can it be? Why is this happening? Dormammu-sama, have you abandoned me? Andrew felt regretful and fell to the ground dying. Magic wheel, if you all put together, you can't stand me. Winning physical fitness, even if you use forbidden arts, you still can't resist my physique with forbidden arts. Even Icarus in normal state can't beat me. Loon now, I have never seen you so stupid. Under your leadership, it is a miracle that black magicians can still survive in this Marvel world. I don't know who gave you the courage to come to my holy place to cause trouble. Sister Liang file size. I don't know why Dimension Mephisto raised you idiots. Suchan looked at the dying Andrew, feeling very sorry in his heart, and couldn't help but complain. It's better to wait while it's hot. Sign in. System, sign in here. Since it is early morning, a new day has begun and the check-in has been refreshed. Then take advantage of it now. The cold system prompts, ding. Congratulations to the host for successfully signing in. Obtained the skill, Turtle Style Qigong. Quote ? How can such a piece of trash sign such an awesome skill? Suchan was very puzzled. Turtle Style Qigong is a god-level skill used from beginning to end in Dragon Ball. The power can be large or small. When it is small, it can only destroy a car, but when it is large, the earth cannot be saved. And although Turtle Style Qigong uses Qi, Suchan's magic power can also activate it. That is with the blessing of the tears of the goddess, which is almost universal energy. Anything can be activated. After all, there are many magicians, warriors, demigods, gods and other strange creatures in the Alliance. If it wasn't omnipotent, who would use this thing? Galen was moved to tears. Close black lens bracket. Seeing this skill introduction, Suchan was delighted. For the sake of a good thing, I'll give you a happy one. After saying that, Suchan stepped on Andrew's head. Come out and clean the floor. Suchan looked at the handymen who had been at the holy place Asgardian. Came up with the only thing they could do. Why can't they do it? They are number one in cooking. These magicians are not good at spells, so they can only do some jobs like washing floors. Can reflect their value. At the same time. Shield. Alert, alert. Level 9 energy fluctuations have been detected in New York City. If it detonates, the consequences. A huge amount of sirens sounded. Hill pushed open the director's door the next moment and shouted to Nick Fury. Find out what happened quickly. SHIELD director Nick Fury shouted quickly. According to SHIELD's energy rating, level 9 is enough to destroy a large city. And level 10 is to destroy a country. Are there ratings for energy fluctuations above? The answer is no. After all, beyond this limit, humans can no longer stop it. In this case, the only option is to call for help. Call Captain Marvel to show up. 9-level energy fluctuations like this rarely occur. Nick Fury looked at the information about Iron Man's previous battle with Iron Overlord in his hand and couldn't help but hold his forehead. But energy comes and goes just as quickly. Within a few seconds, the energy disappeared. If it weren't for the bright light captured by the satellite. He thought he was hallucinating or the alarm was malfunctioning. What the hell is this? One wave after another. Call Phil Coulson and come see me. Some corner of the earth. The Ancient One magician and the dimensional Mephisto Dormammu were engaged in a vicious struggle. Ancient One, you can't defeat us. If you fight with me here, my followers will defeat the weakest point of your protective barrier. When the barrier is destroyed, the earth will become my food. When Ancient One heard this, he immediately panicked and almost misplaced the spell. Fortunately, Time Gem reset the spell. How is that possible? Do you want to focus on attacking the London Holy Place? Or the Hong Kong Holy Place? This time it was Dormammu's turn to wonder, are these two places the weakest places? Ancient One, just keep covering up. We are going to attack New York. This is your weakest point. Don't worry, when I devour the earth, I will spare your life, and I will slowly torture you as the price for standing against me for hundreds of years. Ha 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 ha. When Ancient One heard it, it turned out to be New York's holy place. Don't panic, we have something to say. Not to mention, I even want to laugh a little. Ancient One's face, which had not seen any changes for many years, suddenly became happy. I haven't heard anything so interesting in hundreds of years. No, hold it in, you'll laugh later. Ha 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 ha. Quote ? Quote. Dormammu. In a few days, I will be at the entrance of Holy Place in New York. Phil Coulson stood solemnly in front of the door. Knocked on the door. A little girl with pink hair opened the door. Although Phil Coulson thought the little girl was cute, he still said it seriously. Hi, hello, I'm from the FBI. Because someone reported a fight here some time ago, I am now sent to investigate. Icarus, who opened the door at this time, was very confused. A fight? What is a mob fight? This is what the little magician who was doing chores next to him thought about. Didn't I erase all the memories of my neighbors? It was instilled that a series of car accidents had occurred. Phil Coulson saw someone showing off, and judging by his expression, he must be an insider, so he took out a book of identification. It's the FBI's. An agent like him basically has all the necessary documents. There are even certificates from the IRS department. This is apparently the most powerful department in the United States. Let him come in and bring him to me. At this time, Suchan's voice came from Icarus' head. Suchan saw Phil Coulson and took a secret glance at his thoughts. He probably already knew the cause and effect. I didn't expect it to be someone from S.H.I.E.L.D. and the famous Phil Coulson. Suchan also happens to be able to see what Snake and S.H.I.E.L.D. is capable of. After all, Snake and S.H.I.E.L.D. are still prosperous in the world as ordinary people. Regardless of whether they are good or evil, their abilities and brains are good. After meeting Phil Coulson, you can check in at S.H.I.E.L.D. and Space Gem if you have the chance. Suchan has also been coveting infinite gems for a long time. It has been so long since he signed in and he has not signed out the equipment that matches his beauty. It's not a bad thing to collect if you don't need it in the future. There must be a lot of babies signing in. As for Suchan's psychic ability, he signed it with Ancient One. Ancient One can do it, Suchan can do it most of the time. And made his own way. Generally speaking, there are super abilities other than magic abilities, such as psychic ability. Phil Coulson was taken to the antique hall. A stream of green smoke slowly rose and floated in the air. When Phil Coulson smelled it, he found that it was not something confusing. On the contrary, it made him energetic. Among them, Suchan sat cross-legged in front of the coffee table. Make tea, drink tea. And wearing a magician robe, matching the antique artistic conception, it has an otherworldly meaning. All in all, the quality is very high. Sit. Suchan pointed to the empty seat opposite the coffee table. Phil Coulson said thank you and did it. But she didn't dare to drink the tea in front of her. And when he walked into the door, there was already a small team of agents ambushing him outside. If something unexpected happens, they will definitely rush in immediately. Sir, you are the master of this place compared to you. Yesterday. Suchan interrupted Phil Coulson. I know who you are, and you're in the Territorial Strategy Bureau. Why don't you just change your name to S.H.I.E.L.D.? Phil Coulson's eyes narrowed and he knew the organization they were in. S.H.I.E.L.D. is an organization that protects world peace. Most people may not know that. S.H.I.E.L.D. is quite hidden. Okay, I will suggest it to the director. However, I want to know how you know about our organization. Phil Coulson thought for a while and asked suddenly. With the information in hand, it is impossible for the person in front of him to know their department. According to his information, this young man is the successor of this holy place. He is a child adopted by the original owner of this holy place. Since the original owner was old, the place was given to the young man in front of him. Based on the current situation, he had to wonder if the young man in front of him had obtained it through some illegal means. Is your organization very famous? Not necessarily. I can tell you anything and you don't even know it. Suchan explained. Please clarify. Like, Kunlun, Kamar-Taj, Asgard. Phil Coulson appears calm, but in fact his brain is constantly filtering information. The only one I've heard of is Asgard. Asgard, are you sure? Isn't that the Asgard in Western European mythology? Phil Coulson couldn't help but cursed in his heart. Are you sure you're not kidding? What about things in fairy tales? It's already 2010, doesn't anyone still think Asgard is just for kids? Phil Coulson was silent for a moment. How do you prove that what you say is true? Why should I prove it? If you believe it, if you don't believe it, get out. What a big deal, Suchan said after taking a sip of tea. In Phil Coulson's shocked eyes, the finished cup of tea was filling up automatically. Now I kind of believe it. So you are from Asgard. Phil Coulson took the initiative to pick up the cup in front of him and drank. It seems that he wants to expose what Suchan said. After waiting for a while, the tea was not filled. Phil Coulson looked at Suchan with doubts. What are you looking at me for? You have to drink it yourself. It's not like I don't have long hands. Phil Coulson is such a good-tempered good old man, but he has a few black lines sprouting from his forehead. Director Nick Fury, Can I catch him and interrogate him? I'm definitely not one of those idiots from Asgard. Phil Coulson looked at the automatically filled teapot and was silent again. Sir, which organization do you belong to? He continued to ask. Who am I to tell you? Phil Coulson knew that the other party had some magical means, and believed that the other party was the creator of the 9-level energy. You must also know that I am from the Territorial Strategy Bureau. I know, isn't it just to protect the world from natural aggression? Suchan complained. I'm just curious, why don't you control the carp? Isn't that considered a natural infringement? Phil Coulson was speechless. They are agents, not scavengers. You protect the world from natural damage, but we are magicians who protect the world from magic. Our responsibilities are higher than yours. There are many magical places in this world, including your director, and there are also many secrets. Why don't you go explore it? And something wonderful is happening around here, don't you go and take a look? Please like and subscribe.